这是不是上次咱遇到那一头呀？
What are you supposed to do when your taxi driver tells you there is not enough time to make your flight at the airport? You won't actually know if he's right till you get there, so you can't stop. You have to keep going. Anyway, I've never missed a flight yet. Is this square still on my face?
Square is still on your face.
Okay.
You look right. All right.
Yeah.
Let me just get my jam going. That's one thing. We're getting better at getting all the sound together first. And so that I can actually hear the rhythm going on and hear you. And then like, all right, so start playing, and I'm like, I can't even play keyboard, so it's... I gotta get my chops back up.
Yeah. Well, you look very rhythmic. Can I tell you a surprise anecdote?
Yeah.
So I realized today that I don't think I've touched cash in like more than 3 weeks, but definitely 3 weeks. And I wouldn't have today, except that we got Christmas presents in America that I withdrew in RMB.
So that old-fashioned American money, we have to like go back to the olden days and
the olden days of ATMs.
fish it out of the gutter.
Which I didn't even give it like half a thought going to Sanya. I took out no cash, and like, because everyone in Lucho takes WeChat, but if I had no idea that was going to be the case in Sanya or not. I mean, fortunately it was. I just paid for everything on my phone.
I guess because also there's so many Russians there. Like, why would we assume that the Russians are also fully on WeChat, WePay?
Right.
So.
Yeah, no, I was like, not even took a gamble, because it's amazing how quickly it happened. As recently as November, I'm sure I paid for something in cash. But now, like, my thought isn't, do I have my wallet, but do I have my phone, and is it charged? Because I need to pay for stuff.
Was it a cab, or was it something basic, or?
I think it was Mango Cafe kind of tipped me over. Oh, do you mean the last thing I paid for something in cash?
Yeah.
It would have been probably the grocery store or the pharmacy. But because Mango Cafe prefers WePay.
Yeah.
So that kind of flipped me over from cash to WePay.
I was gonna say they seemed like they're pretty ahead of the game.
Yeah.
They're a very modern organization.
Yeah, they've for a while tried to have you order through an app, but I think people had too much trouble with that. But now you just pay through an app. I mean, I like to talk to a person when I order coffee. I can make special demands, like put some milk in it, please.
Or make it all milk.
Yeah, don't make it all milk. That wasn't Mango, though. Mango always treats us right. But yeah.
All right.
So I thought I'd tell you that.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Pretty good little story.
But yeah, we were in Sanya, and it was nice. This was the first time I let us stay in a real hotel. Well, maybe not the very first, but usually I book us into hostels.
Some of the places are like, they're hard to actually, well, if there's no hostel, or because of constraints of the city itself and us foreigners.
That where us foreigners can stay and not stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not very often.
Yeah.
Most of the places we've gone have hostels.
Yeah. And they're nice. I like them because they are funky and individual and cute. But sometimes that means, mold covered.
Yeah.
The hotel could be that too. But
we have had mold hotels.
Mold tells.
But that's anywhere.
Yeah. But We stayed in a full-on hotel with a included breakfast and everything. Which we went to breakfast once, and then
Wasn't that bad.
it was good.
I mean,
was,
for a hotel breakfast at 𝗣𝘂𝗶𝗴,
Yeah.
𝗣𝘂𝗶𝗴 Hotel.
Which is funny. So we did stay. So when you say Sanya is full of Russians, it's really 𝗣𝘂𝗵cie, which is like this 2 square block neighborhood on the beach, is full of Russians. Well, I'll tell you, it feels like people soften a lot, like when I can speak Chinese to them. Because this is definitely, I mean, it's a resort. And it's all resorty and cold the way a resort would be.
I've never seen so many white people.
In China. Or ever.
Ever.
But yeah, so like everyone I've talked to today in Chinese has been like, there's like a professional demeanor and then like a hey, almost, I'm not saying that they're like, hey, you're one of us, but like, oh, okay.
I could see it in our last wait staff. And her demeanor went right from like, let's just get this over with, to like, what?
Yeah, because I think, like, I watched another Russian family at the first juice place we were at order, and they had to all go through cell phones, and it was like kind of, it's
Excruciating?
yeah.
Do you feel like you should go over and help now?
Well, that's so many times I'm like, can I translate for you? Like, no, we look the same, but I don't speak Russian, and I can't guess if you speak English. I just speak the same language as that person who's trying to help you, but they're more likely to like smoothly finish this transaction than I.
They're better with the phone than you would have to be in between the phone of the phone.
But like, because I think using the phone is impersonal, and so it like it puts this layer, even if it's not a racial thing, which we've been here a day, I have no information on that. But like, if you have to talk to someone via phone, that's awkward. And so when I can be like, again at the mango station, he's like, try the mango, it's really good, and I like answered something sensical in Chinese, and he's like, oh, and then like he and the helper were just like chatting with me.
Right, and if you are especially in a service position using the phone, it's probably just easier for body language to know that like somebody has, you're going to have to wait until they figure out the information on their phone, so you don't actually have to like,
So
it's not a stint.
flow.
Yeah, that you, there's a professional like, now we must wait, and then let that go on, rather than like you jumping in the middle going like, boom, 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 hey, like I let me take care of everybody, and they're just like, what are you doing, maniac?
Yeah. And it's not it's not like the Chinese people are getting better service than the Russians. It's that I look foreign but can speak Chinese is piquing everybody's interest. And so I've had like chats with all of the wait staff all day.
And this is being the first day. You're hoping, well, by day 3 or 4, we'll start to add up to little discounts.
I mean, it might not.
It doesn't need to,
No.
but in our experience, it tends to happen that way.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
That would be cool. I'll take a discount.
Take a discount any day. Not that it's that expensive here.
Well, that's also what's surprising is like it is. I mean, there's nothing here but resort. It's not just like Sanya, but specifically this neighborhood.
Take a look around. We can still keep talking.
So that's. But the prices aren't like super. At least for the coffee drinks we've been drinking all day, aren't super inflated beyond what we'd pay at coffee shop at home.
Yeah, you said what? About the same.
It's fluctuated between 25 and 35 for fancy drinks.
How much
fancy
are these
fresh fruit drinks.
coconut tea? What this cost?
I forget.
Oh.
20.
It so doesn't matter when you're on vacation.
But yeah, it is fun to kind of, like, I know that the surprise is coming, that I'm going to speak Chinese to you. And even more so than last time we were here, I could say, like, basic things, but now I can, like, actually have conversations.
What did we figure out? Our first time here, this is our second time here. Our first was our third year in? Fourth
year in, I think.
And we were still pretty...
Like 2015, maybe?
And we were still pretty shaky-legged.
Yeah. That I think we were... I mean, language was still an issue, but we decided even to try this trip because we felt like, okay, I have enough Chinese to navigate
we had the guts to
a
do
new
it.
city. But, like, it was still, like, looking at stuff. I wouldn't be able to parse, like, what's happening here, so we would be too scared to go do anything but, like, sit at the beachfront bars.
Right.
And we hate seafood, so that was, like, an issue. And that's still an issue, but I know enough to get around.
Yeah, our first time around was just to try and figure out how to eat a crab, and would we like a crab if we found one.
Yeah.
We didn't really find one.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll find one this time, but
Yeah.
maybe not.
Maybe not.
Tune in next time. Crab time.
And we stayed there because we'd been there before, so we knew what we were getting into.
That's where everyone, I guess, stays. I mean,
Yeah.
it's packed up.
All the Russians stay.
I mean, we don't know what the other vacation towns are like, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do know because I researched it. Like, 𝗖𝗵cie is more expensive, and I think more Chinese people stay there.
but is it busy though? Is it bustling?
Well, that's what I liked about 𝗖𝗵cie is not just it was bustling, but that we could walk everywhere. Because, you know, Chinese cities are not generally walkable. But this area was like 2 blocks, but it's full of restaurants and candy shops.
Candy shops,
Ice cream
lots
places.
of ice cream.
And, you know, not all the restaurants were good, but it was like, it felt like a reasonable place to be walking around.
Yeah.
Versus like a 1 block stretch in the middle of the city that is actually like 3 miles long. And everybody takes the bus instead of walking. But yeah, that was where we stayed.
Do you want to start now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we started already.
I feel kind of like, as a hotel.
Okay. Well, what do we talk about?
I don't know. Give us, think of a little snappy, so we just got back from vacation.
Tell us about it, Peter.
It was on the beach.
It was on the beach in Sanya. It's a place we've been to before, and we decided this was our first big trip since you've been sick. And it was, I just remember being so dispirited coming home on like the first cold Luzhou day and saying like, I hope you're up for it because we gotta go someplace warm.
And when did that date happen? What month?
That was
How long
like
ago?
2 months ago. It was like mid-October, I think. And it just because Luzhou gets so damp and rainy and because we were treated to a kind of nice summer this summer, I would say.
Yeah, I guess. But then, yeah,
But
when it hits, it hits.
Then it hits, and then
And you were well prepared, well ahead of time, and still, it wasn't until the last bam, we were leaving.
we were leaving, and Luzhou got really cold.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
last day, it was like, forget it.
Well, that's where we were like, ha, we're leaving, we're going south. With jokes on us, we're back here a week later and it's still cold. But it was nice to have like a little sunny respite in between. I think I avoided saying this while we were there because I didn't want to appear ungrateful to you or to YouTube. But like, 𝗖𝗵cie is like pretty awful. It's sunny and walkable, and that we found good dumplings and a good salad, but it's total tourist trap. It's to be anywhere you have to be giving someone money, and too much money for something that's mediocre.
See if anything happens.
You know I need a preamble.
Pramble?
Preamble.
You need to pramble.
Because how am I supposed to start? Okay, so we're on vacation.
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean.
Are we on vacation?
I think that the problem is I don't know. Like I have to keep watching because I'm holding it. So I'm doing this, and if I look at you, then I'm doing this.
Because I felt like we were pretty natural talking about the ice cream and the karaoke, but then. I
think when you were doing this.
Yeah, that's the problem. We need a camera person.
Yeah, or at least a table or something.
Yeah.
Nothing's ever high enough.
That's always the problem wherever we go. It's never suited to us. We're never suited to it on purpose. What did I say before? If we found what we were looking for, we'd be disappointed. That's why we came to a resort town, not to go swimming.
And we will not swim. Do you think you'll swim?
I don't know. I brought my bathing suit. I probably won't go in the ocean. Here's the thing. I hate the feeling of sand on my wet body. But I might go in our pool to nod to the fact that we came to a vacation town.
It's a weird pool in that it's not actually. It's only a few floors up, and then you just look at the roofs of other.
Yeah, it's not a real rooftop pool experience, which I don't think I've ever been in a rooftop pool.
It's not the most exciting rooftop pool. I mean, it's a nice hotel, but it's not.
Well, because what were we looking for? We were looking for hot weather. We got it. And a place to sit down and write. And we got it.
Yeah.
And then we just have to, we're not going to water ski. We're not going to parasail.
Right. We found some decent foods and we found some bad foods so far.
Yeah, but more decent than bad food, I'm happy to say.
Found 2 good salads.
Yeah, the same salad at 2 places.
Different places. We found the salad that we like.
Yeah, which is this someone else's ideal vacation? No, but it is.
The salad vacation?
Yeah,
we went
go from restaurant to restaurant eating the same salad.
We found a chicken that we want, but they ran out of them just now.
Yeah.
So we'll have to go back tomorrow.
Come back tomorrow.
Check out the chicken.
But that seems like a normal enough thing to happen. I guess. I don't know what other people do on vacation.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they float in the water.
Yeah. Well,
and they sit in the sun.
It's because we could have just gone to a hot place. We could have gone to Guangzhou, and that would have had city things to do. But I like being near the ocean. Being able to look at the ocean while we do stuff, I think, is
it's
pleasant.
the draw of the sea.
Yeah. And also, Guangzhou would have a bunch of other things to do when what we wanted to do was come and work. So if we're let's go check out these galleries this afternoon. Sanya has no galleries.
Right. They have a lot of seafood in Guangzhou too, don't they?
I believe so.
And we don't like seafood.
Yeah, but I mean,
on top of other things.
It's not a vacation to starve ourselves. And we're not, because they have lots of fruit and desserts.
Yeah, the fruit is crazy
situation.
Good. And we have good fruit at home. So
yeah.
We're fruit experts in that aspect.
But yeah, they're they're definitely coconuts straight off the tree, because we see them.
Yeah.
And I think
danger, coconut head.
People keep pushing the mango because the mangoes are really fresh.
We had a great mango juice.
Yeah.
Although it was hot. Hot mango juice.
Well, room temperature mango juice.
Well, yeah.
Because it was fresh.
I wonder if hot mango juice would be good.
Sounds like a good
grandma's
jazz fusion band. Like Grandma's Remedy?
Yeah. Grandma's hot mango jazz.
Or some kind of exclamation in a thing for kids. Hot mango juice!
It's hot mango juice, baby.
Instead of using expletives. that's all I have. I really reached the bottom of the tank.
Yeah. That's definitely the biggest problem. Like in a place that's not Disney World.
Yeah.
Like it's Disney World without, at least Disney World has its clause in everything has to be Disney-fied in a Disney way, so it meets Disney standards. So this is kind of like all over the place. Like you get some kind of shitty fried food over here, and some kind of silly, I don't know, sand toys and stuff like that for the beach, and like nothing is unified except for like that one.
Well, and
strip.
you're not next to anybody who lives in that place except for the service workers. Like if we had gone to Llama Island in Hong Kong, which we didn't for some pretty big political reasons, we would have been like in a bedroom community, but like we would have been living our life alongside people who lived there, and this was like we are just hanging out with people on vacation. I don't like other people on vacation. But all that being said, we knew that because this was our second time there, and we chose it kind of on purpose.
Right. The amount of families and stuff that are there makes it easy for us to blend in.
Yeah.
So that's helpful to us, but at the same time, it means all the amenities of what's going on in the town are not for some people a couple that is going to sit at a coffee house and talk and do some writing, and it's meant for families to get their ice cream, get to the beach, maybe go out to a amusement park or something somewhere.
Yeah, and
outside the city.
The beach being another thing, we don't like the beach. So it is, and this may sound very well like I'm complaining, and I'll just want to reiterate, we chose this. We chose a place where we'd be kind of out of place or in place, because we wanted to just go there and focus on getting writing done, not go and do exciting sightseeing things or like hanging out with and not writing. We wanted to hang out and be writing, so we figured a place full of stuff that we don't want to do is a good place to do that.
Which totally brings us to the main purpose of that. It's warm.
Yeah.
It's so freezing cold here and it's freezing inside because we're on that line of the Yangtze. There's no heaters inside, so it's usually colder inside than it is outside.
Yeah, because we don't get sunlight inside.
Right, and everything's made out of concrete, so we're freezing cold. And just what's the cheapest place that we can get to with nice warmth?
Yeah, because cheapest, and also if we didn't know if you could walk around or how you'd feel about traveling since your illness.
So we don't
like,
want to.
I think next time we just choose Malaysia or Thailand.
Well, because it is warm, and well, once again, the area of Sanya is that we could walk and go get food. You're not trapped in the hotel.
Yeah, because
But
that's
at the same time, we stayed at a nice hotel.
Yeah.
For the reason that in case we did get trapped in the hotel.
Yeah. We spent like a good afternoon debating. Should we stay in the same hostel that we stayed in last time, or should we upgrade to a hotel? And I think the big clincher was the hotel room was like a good size bigger than the hostel room.
Definitely.
And we wanted that space.
And it's got the ceiling to floor wall.
Oh yeah, that was nice.
Window.
We had like a good view of.
It wasn't the beach,
outside.
Unless you looked to either side.
Yeah.
We could
We
steal
had
a
to pay
glance.
more to look out at the beach, so we paid less to look at the bay.
Which was nice. It had the mountains and a little bit of the goofy city below it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a nice Western toilet.
Yeah, that was
Biggest
nice.
toilet I've ever seen in the last like 20 years.
And the toilet was called Barry.
And everything was called Barry.
Yeah, and that because we could have also, like, I looked up stuff we could do in the real city outside of this little tourist enclave, and that's not what we were traveling for, and so we didn't do it.
Right.
So,
Well, the first time we went, we took buses out to the hot springs, and
yeah.
we went. I guess we did beach things.
Swimming.
Why do we do it? Cool off? Good exercise? Clean yourself of all your sins? The Chinese have been swimming for 5,000 years. Before that, who knows what they did? The problem with public pools is they're full of kids. These days I don't swim. I don't need to because I learned how to swim before I could walk. It'll come back to me. It's just like riding a bicycle, which I learned to do right after I learned how to swim. Real men swim in the Yangtze, iron-lunged heroes. They could swim to the bottom of the river and pick up a bushel of zongzi, and then wrestle a blind pink dolphin on their way back up. But you have to wear a life vest if you swim in the Yangtze. It's a strong current, and you don't want to float off the Chongqing. You'll have to start a whole new life there. I don't know how many people we've lost that way.
This time we went to the beach and we were just like, let's find a quiet little coffee spot.
Yeah.
Which was CCP.
Yeah, which was like way out at the end of all these restaurants. It's the place you chose if you like had rejected everything else along the way. And you're like, oh, there's nothing else. But that meant it was nice and quiet and it still had a good view of the ocean. Because I like looking at the ocean. I like that scenery and environment. The air was so fresh and there was like greenery around and brownery around with the sand.
I guess when you get to the main opening of the beach is where there is like a conglomerate of a company or something that owns the
Oh yeah, there's that the 𝗖𝗵cie beach bar, which is spelled like if it was Spanish it would be baile, which means dance. So that in my head it's baile beach bar. But they own like everything. They have a restaurant, they have a coffee shop, they have a beach shack, they have the water sports adventures are all their equipment that you rent.
The deck, the beach, the chairs at the beach.
Yeah.
That part of the water probably. So you
part of the water.
You get filtered into that.
Yeah.
By our weird greasy chicken McNuggets. And
I swear those were from McDonald's.
And then you sort of get filtered towards the better restaurant, which is totally packed. Mm-hmm. And then you end up down at CCP, where the quiet end, where...
If you're us.
If you're us.
No one else was doing that.
Yeah. Or a lot of people did kind of...
Or there would be like a couple or two
that wander into it, and then they're just like, they kind of look at the menu, there's nothing on it but like dumplings, and then they turn around and...
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I hope they do good business. They didn't when we were there.
I think they do good enough. They do good enough that they were there 4 years ago. But yeah, so it was weird holding back during the videos we made because I didn't want to make a video that was like, we're on vacation. I hate it here. And
hate's a strong word.
Hate's a strong word, and it is also like I want to register my dislike without saying like I regret it. Like I chose that. I made that plan and I knew what it was going to be, and I'm actually really happy with the experience we had. And we'll probably never go back there again, but it served its purpose, and it was nice to be warm, even just to wake up and to have it be sunny out instead of white haze, which is in Luzhou.
Yeah. It's funny to have a place that I don't know. I mean, there's so many places I've been to in my life. I rarely stop and think like, well, that's about enough of that one.
Right. Yeah. I've had my fill. Real loaves.
And without any animosity to it, like we know what it's there for, we know why we went.
Yeah.
Which is just funny in that like we both grew up on coasts, on beaches, give or take, and it's what we're comfortable around, and yet we don't want to be there.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, I know I'm describing an absurdity of like an experience I disliked and enjoyed, but that's what it was. And maybe I'm a snoot, but I don't care. I'm snooty.
The funny thing about looking into the camera. Like, what did they say? Like your eyes are, like that's how you engage of dominance. Like if you're dominantly like staring somebody down, like now I'm talking seriously. Whereas if you're off, like you kind of look like a deer or something, like watching out for danger.
And if you look at yourself, if you're selfieing,
right,
you're then like looking in a weird direction.
Right, off to the side of the where that's not actually the viewer, but to the.
Yeah. So I'm looking at that Red Lantern.
The Red Lantern. It's a pretty good place.
Yeah.
The
Well, here's a thought. Is like for me, when I go on vacation, when I travel, I like to feel like I belong there.
Yep.
And find my place to belong. But I don't know that that's what everybody does.
Well, that's why I like to go to a place for like a week. Like this is a long week. What, this is our third day?
Our third full day.
Third full day, and like I just start to feel comfortable, like we just arrived, but most people would be leaving. Or not most people, some people.
But you could take a weekend trip here and like you'd be done.
We have done everything that we wanted to do, except for we just started working.
Right, we just settled into, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. So our vacation begins after we've decided that we know the person that works here. Yeah. She knows the coffee and the tea that we like.
She knows our order already and she chats with us.
We figured out now a third salad.
Yeah.
Of all the foods.
But that's also like getting the local chicken dish for lunch this afternoon was like part of what bugs me about getting overpriced seafood on the beach restaurant. It's not just that like I hate wasting money on overpriced tourist food, but like what do people who live here eat, even if we don't come into contact with that many people who live here? And so like that's what felt good about having that chicken dish.
Right. We watch
the Wenchun chicken.
That's where all the delivery guys not just stop to pick up the delivery,
but then also like had their own lunches there.
So let's eat that. And it turned out like it's a good chicken and some rice and some cabbage.
Because we might go to Dolphin Sports Bar for Western dinner tonight, and that's also like part of the treat of this vacation.
Right. Maybe they might have a bagel. That would be great.
But then like not in a like I owe it to this culture, but like why come here specifically if I'm not even going to see anything from here?
Right.
Because that's part of the exploration. It's not a duty, but it is like otherwise I would have traveled somewhere else and seen something different.
Right.
I guess is what it seems to me.
Trying to find what the local Sanya dish is for this little tourist town is we can't find it.
Yeah.
We keep running into Sichuan food.
If it's not Russian food, it's Sichuan food.
And it's not Sichuan food like we're used to.
Yeah.
So it's like a tourist acquired version of it.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's not that exciting for us.
Yeah.
And we don't know anything about Russian food, but I'm guessing it's not really Russian food.
But my speculation is that's why there are also so many dumpling places, because that's something that is close to Russian food.
Every culture loves a dumpling.
If you're Russian and can tell me what Russian food actually is, call in at the number below.
Hot mango grandma fuzz. What's our new phrase?
Hot mango juice.
Oh, okay.
Hot mango juice. That was good. Because this place that we've decided, this little slice of the beach that's ours, is called the CCCP, which is the old Soviet Union, right?
I think.
Yeah. And, it's Chinese people running it.
with a keg and coconuts.
Yeah. And the clientele seems equally divided between Chinese who come and drink tea and Russians who also drink tea. That's our universal, is everybody drinks tea.
And order dumplings. I've seen some people order dumplings, so that's your theory.
The dumplings unite us all. Actually, that's not my theory. That's a big name theory of like every culture has a dumpling.
Yeah.
Which I'll eat them all. I love my dumpling.
I mean, it brings the travel in general. I mean, we don't really know how to do it
Well, I do.
Yeah, but I mean, we go to the beach and you don't want to go to the beach, and we go to the forest and you don't want to go into the forest, and we go on hikes or camping and you don't want to camp. Like, there's not actual, like, the reason when people say travel, like,
Yeah.
there's the travel that we can enjoy of going to a city and sitting at a cafe. Which
That still counts as travel.
does
though.
it though?
I think, I mean, when I did a lot of traveling in Europe, and that you're allowed to just go to cities and that counts as travel. And what I like about that, I like going to a cafe and watching the people. I like going to museums and all that. And that's the problem, is Chinese museums outside of Shanghai really are nothing special.
And I mean, my point is that the majority of when you're looking around at travel channels or YouTube or whatever, that when people are talking about travel, it's definitely not going to museums. It's not going to cafes.
Yeah, I
it's
guess.
maybe going to get something to eat, but the most popular thing there is street food because it's fun and it's an activity. So the idea of going to a nice town and sitting and people watching is kind of a waste of your money. I mean, not to us. that is what we want, but
Yeah.
that's not. And it's not that we don't like to travel, or that we actually really do think we travel wrong. We
Well,
travel the
because
way
we
that,
have fun.
yeah. Even in going to a place like Sanya, that we're just kind of like, yeah, we're not. Twice is enough. We're not going back. It's pretty silly. The food is cheap. We couldn't find any decent things except for like a couple little noodle huts or something like that were delicious because they were where the local people eat, and that was fine. Everything else is possibly just chicken McNuggets. So yeah, we don't like that stuff, but we still had a good time because that's what we knew
Well,
we
I
were in
guess
for.
do you think most people go to resorts and tourist traps, or do you think most people are savvy enough not to when they travel?
You know, it's funny because a lot of people will say exactly the same thing of like, that's a tourist trap, we hate it.
Yeah.
And yet that's always the place that's most packed. And
I mean, someone's going to.
somebody's going. And
Numerically, is it most people? I guess.
not just China, but any country.
Yeah.
That's where all the people are. And then everyone says that like they hate it, and what they like to do is get out away
Yeah.
from the tourist trap, which is just down a trail that somebody's manicured in a most perfect way to like walk down and then go to a nice sightseeing place where you overlook and you're like, wow, there's only like 200 people here. This is kind of nice. And except
I think
except for the
that's not
real people who actually get out.
You're supposed to just go get lost in the woods, and that counts as real travel?
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
I think that's a maniac's thing to say.
But that's what everyone, I guess, the fantasy of like watching travel TV and stuff is like somebody's jumping off a cliff and throwing fish in the air and
Well, and that's where TV distorts what is a real experience, because if it is on a television show, it does have to be some kind of event. And so you either have like extreme sports always has that energy, or like, I don't know, getting lost in the woods. But that's the plot of Into the Wild? Is that the one where that
the
guy
gets lost in the
freezes to death in Alaska?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. Like one, yeah, some guy gets eaten by a bear. That's another one. Like,
Yeah, like that's, I don't think authentic means, because
James Franco gets stuck in a rock.
there's a reason, not just for your own safety, why you have to apply to some of those trails in the U.S. anyway. And it's not just for your safety, but to like maintain the environment around us. And
Oh, yeah.
like if you do have like Everest, I guess we're getting off vacation into something else, but like that's the big complaint with Everest now, is that the Nepalese government is issuing too many permits, so the mountain's just full of trash and dead bodies,
And
which that doesn't sound like a good vacation to me.
some people. China does a really good job of taking care of all of its UNESCO's and heritage places.
Yeah, that's you can say it's artificial, but they do keep it clean.
I mean, I was amazed with something like 𝗣𝗪𝗪, where the crowds will just, in waves, leave piles of noodles all over trash cans, and then immediately it just gets like...
Yeah, it's clean.
There's a crew right behind every group of people. There's like a little guy on the boat in those beautiful azure lakes that are just picking up stuff. As soon as the trash falls, one guy comes out, little like...
Well, and that's
gobblers.
the thing, because 𝗣𝗪𝗪 was beautiful, and I'm glad that we got to see it. And I'm also glad that it's not a trash heap and a ruined environmental thing that once was beautiful. Like, it's still beautiful because it is this manufactured park.
Right.
And they do sell tickets, because otherwise, if it was just, storm the castle, it would again be ruined.
And that's a place.
So there is, like, I don't want to say, as many people who want to should be allowed to have these experiences. It shouldn't just be for a certain group of people, because that group of people is going to be rich people, because that's how our world works.
And a place like 𝗣𝗪𝗪 is, I'm not saying that I'm super excited to ever go there again. I would like to see it, but the amount of people that were there was impossible.
Yeah.
However, they don't have. I mean, it was freezing cold. Like.
Yeah.
It was you're covered in fog. You're covered in wet. Like on a nice day, it's still kind of like but it's the overtaking beauty of it all that's super exciting, and that's far more fascinating to me than being warm and comfortable out of a beach. So I'm going to make that. I mean, we could have had a mountain retreat to go up to a cabin and totally not be bothered and be around someplace that we're like, oh my God, it's so beautiful and no one bothers us. But instead, we went to the beach where we're going to eat shitty McNuggets and have kids all over us.
They were fine.
Well, they were fine, but that's my point being that, like, our choice itself is out of, like, our travel.
Right.
Given the choice is oftentimes towards physical comfort as opposed to... I mean, also...
But I mean, next time, I think I'd do different research, and if we wanted to go back to Hainan province, we'd maybe pick a different city. And get the same access to warm weather. We left the beach finally yesterday. Well, I think what's funny about the place we've chosen is it's like this 2-square block area that's just full of tourists. But Sanya is actually a big city. And taking that cab ride out last night into the city was like, oh yeah, not only are we still in China, but we're still in a city.
It's like a big island too, right? Like huge.
Well, Hainan is the province, is an island, it's a whole island. And Sanya is a pretty big city. But it was funny, we drove past the lakeshore park, and there was all the ladies dancing, which was just like, oh yeah, that's what happens. That's what you do in China on a Saturday night if the weather is as nice as it is here.
Yeah, it's weird to, it's such a small little area and there's so many foreigners and tourists. It kind of, I don't know, I feel like a little lost to what's going on here. It doesn't feel like home in China.
Yeah, I mean, definitely in this neighborhood, this tourist neighborhood, it doesn't feel like we're in China, to the point where, I'm like, oh, we won't even need to use a VPN. Like, nope, we're still in China.
So yeah, like a couple blocks over on a cab ride, it feels like, oh, that's right, you are in China. Yeah. And your VPN's spotty.
Yeah, and then of course the back to China ride we were taking was to an Italian restaurant full of other foreigners. But I got the impression that they were foreigners who live here.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like they all knew each other and knew the guy. Which the last time we came to Sanya, we had that vacation fall in love thing. We're like, what if we moved here? What if we lived here? And then we're like, no, we don't want to live here. But like, that's where we would hang out, and we would maybe know those people.
Yeah, I guess because it's on the other side of this area. It was 40 minutes away, but like that's the foreign area.
Yeah.
Which was weird because it didn't look foreign.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in the foreign area.
And it was a hilarious coincidence that the last trip here, we went to a Thai restaurant that was right next door to where the Italian restaurant is now. Like, of the one time, both trips that we left our little enclave, it was to go to the exact same place.
The sign for this place was still up, but the place was empty.
Yeah.
Italian restaurant next to it. And it was a fine Italian restaurant. The guy spoke really good English.
Yeah. 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 We had a nice antipasto platter with lots of meats. It was delicious. Scratched that itch.
The meat itch.
The meat itch. I am scratching the meat itch.
Huh. Yeah, but I mean, I can't help but be like, it's fine. I don't care.
Well, I think that's what we were going for. I mean, I wasn't going expecting like, it will just be like when I was in Tuscany and found this amazing, like...
Well, I don't mean even
I wanted to see what a little Italian restaurant would be like, and it was good. We had really good ravioli, too.
I don't mean just like the Italian restaurant, but I mean like everything in general is just like, it's warm here, so I'm comfortable. That's about all really I'm interested in, like finding an Italian restaurant, going to the grocery store, getting some turkey, getting some good chocolate. Like, it's all kind of like... This time around, as opposed to the first time that was just like, I can't believe I'm on a beach in China, that's nuts! This time around, our plan seems to be working of like, just go someplace warm.
And relax.
Yeah, it's nothing out of the ordinary, and it's barely exciting. And in fact, we kind of need it to be not exciting.
Right. Here's what I think is... Not that there's a lot of pressure on this vacation, but because this is the first time we've traveled since you've been sick, that it is like, is the amount of work to get here worth it?
That's
and
true.
Like the bar for worth it is not actually that high, but it is like.
This is the first time we've been on vacation since Lijiang, which is like 3
or 4 years. And it is like, do we travel? Are we people who travel?
Yeah, have we given up on travel?
Yeah. Because I like traveling, and I like traveling with you. So I'm happy that you're having a good time, because that means we can do it some more.
And we had gotten in the habit of traveling, was not that special. Like, it was just fun. We would go places to go places. We'd get on a plane. Like, it felt like we were on tour our first 4 or 5 years here.
Yeah.
Because we were always on a plane. We were always on a bus. We were always going someplace new and exciting. And now it's kind of like...
And that was like, there was an imperative to like, see China!
Oh, yeah.
Whereas this does not have that imperative. This imperative is relax!
Yeah, well, I guess when you start to like go back to locations... the second, third time around, it's sort of like, I'm just going there because like I know, well, it's not a Thai restaurant anymore, but it's an Italian restaurant, and I can get some meat.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I guess that's that.
And I get that most people don't go on vacation to go to museums, or if they are going to see musical acts, it's, to see somebody play Guns N' Roses or whatever whatever people listen to on stage, some cover bands or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was an ideal like Disneyland for us, it would be a coffee shop where someone's playing like some really out there John Zorn and giving us like amazing tapas. Like, what kind of like butt heads are we that we're just like, I really would just something a little more sophisticated for my vacation.
Yeah. Well, I would say I like to travel, and we usually don't do a Sanya style vacation like this one we just did. But if I think about it, because you kept wanting to talk about like why do people travel? Mm-hmm. And I don't know why people travel, but I know that I like to, and I feel like this is a game that's a subset of the larger game of life, which I feel I'm playing on. Hello, you humans. I am also a human. But I like going to strange new places and like a puzzle, trying to figure out how to fit in. And like the funnest thing is to get confused for a local and have someone ask me directions. Then I know I've won. And I have extra bonus one if it's someone from that place asks me for directions, which I'll brag about. Has happened a lot. It's even happened here in Luzhou. So a Luzhou person asked me for directions. I didn't know where they were going, so I couldn't help them. But it was also like a busy sidewalk, and they chose me. But I look like I belong, so I win.
Yeah, and like you were saying with Sanya,
I guess
so
that's
many people are
what
speaking Russian.
That feels the sand in my sandals feels like I'm never gonna get mistaken for someone who's from here, because no one's from right here.
And you don't own sandals.
And I don't own sandals. but I guess that's part of like my discomfort with the beautiful vacation we gave ourselves.
Well, like when I'm being from New York City, when you're walking to work on your regular day, and no one is from New York City.
Yeah.
Even back then is a total kudos. Lift your on your way for the day of like how nice it was that some tourist was just like, how do I find the Empire State Building? And you're like, that thing?
Or when you give them the wrong directions because the subway's doing what the subway does. I've done that a couple times. But you still give them confidently.
Right, yeah, and I've done that, and it's like 2 or 3 stops down the road like that. It just like you're feeling great.
Yeah.
And it's 10 minutes later.
And they get on, and you're like, the D's doing skip stops. Uh-oh.
Or just completely.
Well, they'll ask someone else.
Or just completely gone the wrong absolute way. Like, boy, I'm so great. And then 10 minutes later, 2 stops. You know they're really far away at this point. There's no chance of ever helping them.
Yeah.
And you're like, which way am I facing? All of a sudden, I'm the biggest
You're
idiot.
lost.
I'm lost.
But you looked like you knew where you were going, and that's what counts. That's to the bottom of what travel is for, to look like you know where you're going.
Qingdao has the beach, and it's in the north, so it's a little cooler in the summer, which is kind of nice if you're into cooler weather. It was occupied by Germans after a world war, so there's remnants of European architecture. Oh, and there's beer. Which raises the question, would China even be drinking beer if it wasn't for Qingdao? These days, all the big cities have microbreweries, but Qingdao is the original. Chinese beer with German characteristics. One of the unique things about the Qingdao delivery of beer to your mouth is that it comes in a bag. You just pop a straw on the top of it and drink. It's great, because then you can't put it down. Commit to something for once in your life. You'll find they do this everywhere, but there's only one place worth visiting. 𝗣𝘂𝗻𝨆. She's got a chicken in a cardboard box, if you get there before dinner. It's easy to find, because it's right around the corner from the hostel with the best Western amenities. They have spaghetti and martinis. But back to 𝗣𝘂𝗻𝨆. She's got barbecue and a bunch of stories. You could spend the whole night there. If I traveled, I'd go there. Yeah, if I drank. Well, that is one of the things that I don't like, is not knowing what, like, I feel like when I need in a vacation is to get to a place, spend a couple of days, find out the places where I can tuck away into.
Yeah.
And then I'm comfortable. Like I don't like wandering around the street going like, what is am I need a hamburger or am I...
Are you vlogging? Is that what?
Vlogging and
holding up a map?
Whatever it is, that's lost and I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that.
You do hate that.
Yeah. Because then I'm just walking around for no reason. I'm wasting energy. Like,
yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we've talked about like two different kinds of things, like what's a vacation versus what's travel. Because to me, travel implies like you're going to a place to see a thing, or like do a specific cultural activity, whether that is climbing Everest. I don't know why I'm stuck on that. That's not a reasonable goal.
Yeah.
I have no desire to climb Everest.
Maybe just something simple like going to... But what about something like Washington, where there's a ton of museums, there's a ton of monuments?
DC.
Yeah. And even outside of Washington, there's like nice mountains and...
Yeah.
There's
Northern Virginia.
There's everything there.
Yeah.
I have no desire. I've been there a few times. I have no desire to go back. In fact, I wish I hadn't gone there as many times as I have.
I mean, I went to school in Virginia, so I've been through DC a couple billions of times.
I mean, if you're like a...
I love the Air and Space Museum.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The Portrait Gallery is pretty good. I mean, all the Smithsonian's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm such a nerd. The National Monuments, I mean, I've seen them all. I don't feel like I need to go see them again. And DC as a restaurant hangout town, I'm not a huge fan of.
It's supposed to be pretty bad, isn't it? Like...
Yeah, I was never super...
Bad politicians' diet.
Yeah.
Or newscasters.
Why are we just like talking about places we hate?
Are there places that we love?
Yeah, like what about everywhere? We love everywhere. Well, like I was gonna say before we got on DC, like travel would be to some place like Venice, which is also having its problems with too many tourists, or something like Heidelberg in Germany, like is a little town with a big castle outside, and it is like a sweet storybook little city. Whereas vacation, I feel like you're just going to a place, like you're going to your friend's cabin, or you're like maybe there's water skiing involved, but like you're just going to be someplace else.
Okay. Hang out with people.
Yeah. Which that's what I feel like. Sanya was not travel as so much as a vacation for us, just to like exist for some time in a different place that was warmer.
And the fact that it is set up for like a Disney vacation for people.
Yeah, I mean, you keep saying Disney. I feel like Disney is more composed.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But then you have vacation or travel versus just plain time off, which in the recession last decade, people tried to rebrand as staycation. Which we like our life at home, so actually just time off. Because I took 2 weeks off of work, but we only traveled for 1 week. But also like being at home and not having to go to work and being able to do whatever I want is really nice too.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of fantastic places in our town here in Luzhou. Yeah. That are in the city and out of the city are great places to visit. Yeah. Is that a holiday or is it a day out?
Yeah, because that's when we don't travel and take time off. People are always like, "Oh, so where are you going?" Like, nowhere. We're here.
We've made it. Because what you're like saying, like if you go to the lake with somebody, that's just kind of like going over to somebody's house, going to their log cabin, going to the lake kind of thing.
And you're still like, well, I guess we should check out the farmer's market, or whatever is in towns with cabins. And
Mackinac
peaches.
Mackinac peaches.
Yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, a farmer's market is good too. But when we're home, I'm like, yay, I get to to play my video games. I get to practice my Chinese. I get to do my yoga classes. I get to go running in the park.
Yeah. Which is, all those things are actually a real distraction as to why we would physically get up and get out.
We left because our stuff is too exciting.
We have too many fun things at home, so we need to go someplace that we don't like.
Yeah. Yeah, because you were saying at one point during the vacation, like, I need my keyboard. I'm going to be writing music. Like,
Yeah.
No, you're not. We're going to be writing the thing we came here to write. So even in our own home, it's too full of distractions.
Yeah, we can switch projects at any time, and sometimes those projects are, well, we still need to put up the curtains.
The kitten curtains. Yeah.
The curtains in the kitchen.
Yeah. Or even like stupid like laundry. Mm-hmm. If we had wanted to do laundry, we could send it out at the hotel. But vacation is almost like you only have to do the fun stuff. You don't have to do the boring stuff of living your life.
Yeah.
You don't have to wash any dishes. You don't have to... I was going to say bring the kids to school, but we don't do that anyway. But you don't have to water the plants. They survived. They survived a week without watering. So yeah, it is like the vacation part of it is like you physically have left all the stuff you have, so you can't do anything with that stuff, even if you want to.
Which is maybe why...
I sound like a alien.
It's maybe why
I've been on this planet, I swear, the whole time.
I get antsy on vacation because I don't have the things that I need to think and do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even so much like workaholic kind of, like, this isn't fun to sit here and like look at nothing.
Yeah.
That's what a vacation feels like to me. And sometimes to force myself to do it, if it's a nice place, if I like the view, if there's funny people to look at,
Yeah.
if there's good food,
Yeah.
I can sort of be like, oh, it is nice to relax. But there's still like in the back of my head going like, I wish I was playing an instrument or, you know, working on a video or drawing or something.
Yeah.
It's almost anything would be better than what I'm doing.
I think you are a workaholic.
Maybe.
Great places are wonderful locations to be. This might be one of them.
Here we are, like every day on Earth.
Do you ever go to places before?
All the time.
What kind of place is this?
It's a hot place.
It's a bright place.
It's a beach place.
My God, my eyes. Look at that. Whoa, palm trees.
Oh.
All right, so there's a curb coming up. That should be pretty exciting for all of us.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's see how it goes.
Whoa! Look out. That guy. Look out, tree. Whoa. Still trucking along. We're nearing the beach. It's a lot harder than you think.
Yeah. Well, to be in frame, I have to walk like into you.
Yeah. It's not really a real experience. Like this is a terribly fake vacation.
Well,
Way to be.
Watch out for this curb.
Give me some juice here, not the juice that's on the ground.
It's the back half of the vacation.
The back half, just like the back half of the beach, which looks like this.
Yeah.
Another curb. Whoa! So as we move into the back half of the vacation and the back half of the beach.
I think we did pretty well so far.
So far.
I mean, we still have a day and a half left.
Some people live an entire day and a half in a day and a half.
Yeah. It's magical. I would like to get some Lanzhou noodles, but we can have Lanzhou noodles at home too.
What exactly are Lanzhou noodles?
They are hand-pulled, handmade noodles, and they are made by, they're generally Muslim Chinese. It's a Muslim Chinese cuisine.
And what are they doing here?
They're everywhere. They're like a very popular cuisine.
Like Muslims?
Like Muslims are a very popular cuisine.
Look out, here it comes.
I mean, there are
Whoa.
generally very good noodles made with high quality ingredients.
Are they thick?
And they're a little bit thicker than normal noodles.
What kind of sauce comes with them?
Different kinds of sauce. And they, in my experience, have more vegetables and things on them. Like a regular plate of Sichuan new ru mian will just have the mian and the new ru, which is the noodles and the beef, but there's not generally like anything else to it.
So just veg. No meat.
No meat. No, there's meat.
No?
There is meat.
What kind of meat? Mutton?
Yeah, mutton or it wouldn't be pork. Mutton or beef, I guess they would have.
Like any vacation town
Yeah.
or any good place, there's always a dark side. Here.
Trash has to go somewhere.
Yeah. Literally acres and acres of trash every week are processed here, right behind where we eat.
That's not true. We're here.
We're here.
It's a good walk.
Here's the corner where we move around the corner. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right, let's take a look at the beach. It's like that. It's like this, y'all. Some steps. Pretty exciting. Go up a few steps. Glasses come off. See the hangover behind your eyes.
I don't have a hangover.
Come on! You're giving me nothing here. All right, I'm shutting this down.
Shut it down.
But that's what's fun to me though, is
Doing the work.
Having something, and it's not. I mean, I totally understand that, you know, for some people it's climbing a mountain or jumping out of a plane or going on a ride at Disneyland. But
I also don't like rides.
well, there's another vacation place we don't go.
I mean, I don't like. We actually did talk about this in Sanya of like. So, bear with me. The experiences of fear and excitement physiologically are very similar in your body. You get this elevated heart rate, you start breathing fast, your adrenaline is pumping, and it's just through the circumstance your brain, your mind interprets it as fear versus excitement.
Yeah.
And I think my theory is that people who enjoy roller coasters are able to switch between fear and excitement better than me, because I just feel like out of control and scared out of my mind on a roller coaster.
Right. Whereas I was saying I'm not fearful of it because it's a maintained vehicle that's supposed to be taken care of every day, that I'm fairly certain it's either safe or like.
But it's not like an existential fear of the roller coaster. It is literally I don't like my body moving that fast. Which I think.
Yeah, that.
Whereas you're like so calm. I don't think your heart rate elevates on a roller coaster.
I just don't.
So you don't get the sensation.
I don't. I don't actually get anything out of it. I like the Disneyland rides because they have like little robots that go bleep bloop bleep, and I'm like that.
Forget me. You're the one who's the alien. You're all in your mind.
I don't care about my body going fast or going up and down or like. I do like a show though.
Yeah.
If I don't know, maybe Paris or maybe Vegas is where I need to be.
Maybe.
I hate the idea of going to Vegas.
You're going that one on your own. I'll go to Paris with you though. Have some croissant.
Yeah, I like a show or like a museum. But even like when you go to like a lot of museums, like again like DC. I've never been to Paris, but you do have this sense of like you got to buy the hat, exit through the souvenir shop,
the gift shop.
Kind of. Well, I better buy a T-shirt to prove that I went because I don't know if I sucked up enough art here at the Guggenheim.
The Guggenheim doesn't sell T-shirts.
It should. More people would go.
I think they're doing fine. It's funny because in my job at the newspaper, part of it was going to these museum exhibitions. So it's one thing to think about going to the Louvre, where I've been once in my life, versus like you bring up the Guggenheim, and like I know every inch of that building because I've been there so many times. And I love it. It's a great museum. You should go if you're in New York. But to say that is something exotic, like I did work there. I guess that's a humble brag.
Yeah.
Humble. Or just a straight up brag.
I've had friends that are artists that have had jobs like that are just like, that's the worst job you could possibly have, is to, I mean, I worked in a museum too.
Oh yeah.
To sit there and look at on a daily basis work that you love could either be inspiring, or it's just like, I'm standing here guarding paint from being touched by children or something. It's actually kind of
I didn't actually work at the museum, so I didn't have that. I got to go to all the parties and the openings. Like that's a charmed life.
So why did you leave?
Well, I got that experience, and now I'm having this experience. That's the pleasure of life being long. You get to go places and have different kinds of times there to bring it back.
That's what travel's all about.
I do think that's, to me, although there's so, like, buy a cup at Starbucks and it'll tell you all about how travel expands your mind. You meet plenty of people. If you travel enough, or maybe even the first time you travel, not everybody's mind is expanded by the travel they do. So I guess it's hard to say absolutely what travel's for. And like, since the beginning of a leisure class, there have been snoots looking down at other people for traveling wrong. Like, that's what A Room with a View has a whole big, the novel from the 1800s, I think, has a whole big thing about how all the English tourists in Italy have the same book that they follow, the same guidebook, and so the Italians just watch all the English tromp all over the same places. And this was like 200, 300 years ago. So I think as long as there's been travel, there's been people complaining about travelers.
Well, the traveling itself brings so much anxiety in getting ready, especially if you're like a family and transportation. Like, even just all we had to do, it's funny, like, China's such a big place, but we like traveled like halfway across it in 2 hours and went from freezing cold, miserable weather to beautiful sunny weather where we're comfortable and yet couldn't find any good food that we wanted to eat that wasn't garbage tourist food. And then 2 hours back, no, we didn't have to stop anywhere else. Just like getting on a plane was like going to the mall. And we're back here, freezing cold, but we have all the good food that we like want immediately. Like, in a way, like going away for a week, the stressful part was like, we got to get on a plane, and that's just the two of us. If it was like a whole big, like, you had to take all your money for the entire year, spend it on all the family, and be worrying about like what kid needs orange juice or milk or whatever, and who wants to buy a hat and a t-shirt. That sounds like too stressful for me to, like, why would I save up all my vacation?
Well, that's where you're not afraid of roller coasters, but that causes you anxiety. Like, I am not anxious about getting on the plane. I love just throwing my stuff in a bag and like going to a new place. And that's, in fact, a lot of solo trips I took by myself. The first thing I do when I get to a new place is like intentionally get kind of lost and see if I can find my way back.
See, I see that only as I'm going to go to a place where I have to go because I paid for it. And I'm going to have to stand in a line for that privilege to go sit in a place until I'm told that I can get out of that place, and then I don't know where I am.
No wonder you hate traveling.
It's just a series of waiting around in places that is where my stuff isn't. And that's why I hate travel.
Yeah.
I don't hate travel. I like to travel. I like to be in different places. But
I think we've
why,
found that you and I have a kind of a different style of travel. That we are able to reconcile with each other, which is good. If we were incompatible travelers, that would be less good.
Well, one of the big things is that we like a nice warm place.
Well, yeah.
It may not be sitting on the beach, but it's like sitting away from the beach up on the deck. Mm-hmm. And, having some fruit.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. We both love it.
Yeah.
So we got that going for us.
Yeah,
Good things we got married.
But I guess the thing we both agree on is that we do love coming home. We live in a place and we live a life that we're like happy to come home to. So it's not the travel. It was this time was a literal escape from the cold weather. Mm-hmm. But it's not like an escape from our dreary lives. Like towards the end, I was kind of antsy to we haven't had hot pot in a while. I want to have a hot pot. And that's like the second night we were home. That's what we went and did.
One of the main cuisines that was featured in Sanya was Sichuan dishes. And they were not.
Well, that's not Sanya. That's everywhere in China. If you go anywhere, Sichuan is one of the 4 to 9 big cuisines of China, depending on who you ask. But so everywhere you go, there's going to be Sichuan restaurants. Mm-hmm. But yeah, how authentic are they going to be?
Or edible.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is, a little bit of us being a snob, and we live in one of the great food provinces of the planet. Yeah. So when you're thinking of like, boy, I'm on vacation. It's lunchtime. It's dinner time. Let's go downstairs. That's what we do. This is what we've been looking forward to. Let's go get a good meal, and then we wander around 2 blocks, going like chicken McNuggets, bad Sichuan food. Can we just go home and have a good meal?
Yeah.
Well, we did it.
We did it. All of a sudden, it seems like we went from the middle of vacation to the end of vacation.
5 days.
5 days.
We got ham.
Yep.
We got 3 salads, and we finished the writing that we wanted to do.
And I got souvenirs for some of my coworkers. I forgot about some of them, so I have to go back.
If you're not watching, you won't notice. Subscribe.
But yeah, it feels good. Like we're still like in vacation mode, which is good. But I am also starting to think like when we get home, we'll go have hot pot and all the Sichuan food we've missed. But for now, we'll have one more coffee on the beach with our sneakers on, because that's the way I like to enjoy the beach. Theoretically, I'm annoyed that all this capitalist enterprise owns the beach, but they make a good enough coffee, and they have a good place to sit.
Spicy pineapple?
Yeah, it's good actually. I would not think to put savory on pineapple, but
there you go.
It's very nice.
That's beach life.
Yeah.
Spicy beach pineapple.
Spicy beach pineapple.
Like a fuzzy grandma. What is that? Hot
mango jazz.
Hot mango jazz. Grandma's
fuzz. I grew up on a beach. I didn't come here to learn about a beach.
You're born on a beach?
I was born on a beach, and as quickly as I could went inland. Didn't learn to appreciate seafood there. I'm not going to learn to appreciate seafood here.
Just go ahead and say it. Screw fish.
Throw them back.
You hate them.
Throw them back in the water.
Hate all of them. Look, all of them out there. Hate them.
I don't hate them. I just think they should stay in the sea where they belong. I'm from the land. I want my food to be from the land. Right?
Cold fish sandwich?
I guess I like tuna fish. I'm a complete liar. I'll eat a salmon or a tuna fish.
Cold or hot?
Well,
choose the temperature of your fish.
Tuna melt, I guess. I would have hot. If there's cheese involved, make it hot.
You see, this is what happens with global warming.
What?
What's the temperature?
8 degrees Celsius. It was like 28 when we left Sanya.
Perfect.
你知道吗？
啊，对。
就在这里。
这里，
啊。
对。
拜拜。
Well, our original plan was to go to the fancy foreign grocery store and just make our own food. And then the fancy foreign grocery store we were remembering was actually in Thailand, and this one was good and was fun, and we definitely spent a lot of money there. And had a ham sandwich. But it was like a much smaller selection than we remembered.
But still pretty darn huge. I mean, it was what, comparable to going to Carrefour in Chengdu or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good market.
I mean, for foreign Western food, it's a paradise.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our paradise of like, we'll go to Sanya, it's warm, and there's a decent place
we'll
for
buy
us.
Some mustards. We'll
Deliberately
buy some tea.
went to a hotel, not just for the comfort of it being a real, whatever 4-star hotel it was.
Yeah.
But that they had indoor, in-house, in-room
a fridge.
refrigerators.
Yeah.
So that we could get a whole bunch of meat
buy,
and cheese and stick it in there.
And we did.
But
not as much as we thought we were going to.
We expected to do that the entire vacation. We only just did it at the end.
Yeah. Well, because I wanted to be prepared for us to get there and for you to say, like, I'm tired. I can't walk anymore. Let's just stay in the hotel and watch movies. And we didn't do that. For as much as we really just spent half an hour to an hour complaining about how tacky this place was. We were out there every day, walking around.
We tacked it up. No, that's why we can complain.
Yeah.
Because we lived it.
Yeah.
And we loved it.
We did. And then we came home. And all our stuff was still here. And my plants didn't die.
Yeah, and we did work while we were there. We got lots of great stuff done that we're super proud of and super excited for to come back and get that stuff underway.
Yeah.
In that sense, I mean, it's the same work. Like you said, we could have stayed here and went to our usual coffee houses here in Luzhou.
Yeah, which we did when we got back.
Yep, it's right off the bat. So we could have stayed here.
Yeah.
But the distraction of all of our toys made it a push to get somewhere where we didn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
And we found the 1 or 2 coffee houses we could find, and we hunkered down and did our job.
Yeah.
We didn't go on any rides.
No, there was a ride that kind of jutted out into the sea. Like a big inflatable slide or something.
Well, and there's like boats and
parasailing
and all that kind of stuff.
Which again, I don't like going fast with this body, so.
And on the water, out over deep areas where you can't see.
Yeah, I don't think I would like parasailing.
That's high up over a place that's deep. That's like 2 fathoms.
Well, I'm not worried so much about the deep because I can swim, but there's fish in that deep.
Yeah, but what if you fall out of the parasail, hit your head hard on the water, and then fall deep?
What, are you writing an action movie?
These are the kind of vacations that can happen in my head if you don't just sit on the beach and
that's why you
stay in your own goddamn lane.
Stay home. Well, yeah, and that was our travel adventure, I guess. Not adventure. It
Oh, it's a writing adventure.
Yeah, it was a writing adventure. And it was like, it wasn't necessarily like, oh, we're stuck, we need some inspiration, but it is kind of nice to like be in a new place and be like fresh and like, all right, let's keep going on a project that we've been working on for a while and we're going to be working on for another while. So,
well, that's one of the things about, we've been to like not even near the amount of places that we could go to in China and outside of China that are exciting for places to see, but we've been to a lot of them. And Luzhou was the first place that we got to. We left, we came back, and we decided we're sticking here. Part of our story is here, and to get out, to get perspective on what it is to live here and why we like living here and why we feel like we're kind of on vacation on a daily basis living here. It really helps to get out. Like, I would say, for me, one of the strongest pickups from going on vacation, other than getting work done there, was to come home. I love every time like we come back to Luzhou. Like, coming in, even in like a terrible car ride in like dense cold fog in the wintertime, I'm just like, what a beautiful little town we live in. And given that like the work that we're doing, our videos, our show, everything, all of our art at the moment is based around living in Luzhou. So getting that perspective of going away, it's like going in exile. So that we could come back and go like, all right, let's get back to work.
Exile's a funny but good word, I think.
Because the first thing we did was we got back and we went to restaurants. We went to a new restaurant, or found a new restaurant that we're super excited about, and we're sitting there just like before our vacation, sitting there in cold, freezing rain around a hot little fire, going like, I really love it here. I'm so cold, I hate being here. But I love being here. You know.
More spice
To keep warm. More fire to keep warm. I hate being cold. I would much rather be sitting in shorts and sandals on the beach. But that's not, forget about our stuff. That's not like where our story is right now. So getting that out of a vacation I guess you go on vacation to rejuvenate so that you're supposed to go back to work, but I can't wait to get back to my desk and tell my boss that I'm having a great day.
Well, I will say, like, I'm going back to work tomorrow after 2 weeks off, and I am like, okay, I'm ready. I gotta organize. I mean, it helps that we have like 3 weeks left until Chinese New Year break, but it is like, I miss the kids. I'm on a WeChat group for the class. They've been sending pictures the whole time because that's what they do. And like, I miss those guys. So it's also like not too bad. I guess, again, not a humble brag, but a straight up brag. Our life is good. So it's not like we need to like run away from it.
Right.
But change is also good.
What else you got on that pad of paper over there?
I think that might be it. That might be noodles to you.